Hello everybody, welcome to the review. It is 9:22 p.m. Finished watching Bad Boys Ride or Die, and before I get into the details of this review, I do want to say up ahead of time that I do apologize for not being able to review and upload consistently. I recently started a full-time position at a job, and it's been cutting into my film watching and my reviews. So I'm hoping that if all goes well, I'm able to get acclimated to this new type of scheduling, and hopefully I'll be able to uh, watch a certain film or a show and review it and have it uploaded to my channel more consistently once everything starts calming down. That's if all goes well. Without further ado, once again, it's spoiler free, and if you happen to like the content of my channel, hit the subscribe button below and spread to your words of friends and family, please. Bad Boys Ride or Die is a sequel to Bad Boys for Life. Then, of course, you have Bad Boys 2 and then Bad Boys 1, the first two films, directed by Michael Bay. The buddy cop elements that is on the big screen with a lot of cinematic, memorable moments. And you have Martin Lawrence and Will Smith returning to their iconic roles as Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett. And what I've found myself appreciating more with these specific last two films of Bad Boys franchise is the complete removal from what made the first two films memorable. And what I mean by that is anyone who has watched, for example, the Fast and the Furious films, initially they start out as focusing more on the street racing dynamic, and the sequels, Fast Five to be exact, deviated from the racing and was bringing in more of the heist elements. This is moved away from I don't want to say the over the top buddy cop narrative, but because it's still there, but it's venturing more into a darker territory where it is similar to the Fast and the Furious franchise, and they're just saying, you know what, we're going to go ahead and have Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett fully become involved in a lot more vicious scenarios that particularly didn't exist with the first two films. And you have this mysterious assassin that's Mike Lowry's son from the first film. Well, excuse me, not for the first film, but from Bad Boys for Life. Is that it reminds me a lot of Deckard Shaw, who joins the family in the Fast and Furious franchise. Having said that, this storyline focuses on their former captain who has been assassinated and accused of being a corrupt, dirty cop working with the cartel. And Mike and Marcus work to clear his name. Unfortunately for them, they find themselves involved with with the law and the government and the FBI hunted them because of their involvement with him. Having said that, and of course, you have all this type of insane action scenarios that are happening. Martin Lawrence and Will Smith seamlessly return to their iconic roles with complete ease. There's an interesting character switch between the two of them in Bad Boys 1 and 2, and even Bad Boys 3. Mike Lowry was the reckless one. He was more of the jumping into the foray and putting their lives at risk and not having a clear representation of the value for his own life. And you have Martin Lawrence's character Marcus, who was the mature one and wanted to make sure that he's okay. Well, this one you have Marcus, who is the over the top reckless abandonment. Mike Lowry is the mature one and trying to make sure that he doesn't do anything to get himself killed. And that switch was very unique and provided a lot of different highlights that I found quite humorous and memorable. And the beautiful aspect about this film as well is watching it with the crowd. The energy and the magnetic chemistry that they have with one another seems to allow the audience to gravitate towards them, and they're reacting to the appropriate scenes. And that's what made it, for me, a lot more fun compared to certain films that came out as of late that didn't necessarily, while they were good, I found them to be quite memorable. They didn't necessarily grab the audience's attention the way that they needed to. And this is the perfect type of summer blockbuster film that is absolutely needed for the theater setting, that will generate an interest from the crowd, because never once did I find myself being bored from what I was watching. And while of course it's fairly formulaic and there's a lot of revelations that you do see coming from a mile away, it does not detract from the personal enjoyment that I do believe the audiences will be able to take from this experience, because the action sequences, with it being a much more darker, brutal, visceral, and intense representation, this is exactly what I found. What I really enjoyed is the fact that I grew up on these type of films. And once again, the old school traditional action adventure where you're just watching all these types of explosions and gunfights and humorous dialogue between the two is just the perfect summer film that I do believe has been that the audiences have been craving for as of late. It's not filled with any type of specific agendas. It's all about having having the audience, giving the audience a sense of fun, entertainment, and pure escapism. And at the last shootout sequence is by far once offers some of the most innovative camera work that I could possibly even imagine. It's just it has to be seen to believe. It reminds me of a combination between John Wick and The Equalizer with Denzel Washington. You simply cannot go wrong with this feature. I mean, I do highly recommend it. It is very fun, exciting, brutal, a lot of obvious humor, and I had a great time with it. I do recommend it. So for my review of Bad Boys Ride or Die, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 10 out of 10. 2 thumbs up. I highly recommend it. And if you have watched the film, please let me know in the comment section what you thought about it and whatever type of films that you have recently watched and you want to recommend to me. And once again, I hope that if all goes well, I'll be able to review more consistently. And once again, that's my review of Bad Boys Ride or Die. I hope you all remain safe and healthy. Take care and peace out.